Hi there. In this video, we'll be covering how to get help writing a book. I get it. It's so easy to get overwhelmed when book writing and, think about throwing in the towel, but don't give up yet. I really don't want you to give up. I want you to think about the forms of support that you can get to empower you to keep going and to write the best possible book. By the end of this video, you will learn what kinds of support you might need, how to consider your network, and how to follow your gut when getting help to write your book. And stay tuned until the end of the video for an opportunity I really think you're going to enjoy. Let's dive in. It's so important to kind of know yourself when you think about writing a book and the kind of help you need. Because if you go find somebody and say, I need help writing my book, they're ultimately going to ask you, what help do you need? So it's important to really kind of think about that. Do you need writing support? Do you need coaching support? Do you need guidance on what to do next? The kinds of support you need are going to dictate the kinds of people that you're going to end up working with. If you need help writing your book, if you are really struggling with the writing process, you're probably going to need a ghostwriter. A ghostwriter could also be the right fit for you if you don't have the time to devote to writing your book. When I work as a ghostwriter with clients, a lot of the authors I work with, they're successful people. They've written other things before. Some of them have even written other books. They just don't have the time or the effort or the focus to be able to write this specific book. So that's when they end up working with me. Another type of support that you can get is called writing coach. And it's similar to a sports coach. This is somebody who shouts encouragement and gives you guidance and helps you do the thing. A writing coach is somebody who will guide you on the writing process. You're the one who's leading the writing process yourself and then sending your writing to the coach for a review. So it goes both ways, With a ghostwriter, they're writing and guiding the writing process and sending material for you to review. And then on the flip side, with the writing coach, you're doing the writing, the author's doing the writing, and sending the material to the writing coach for review. So either way, there's opportunities to get the support you need on the writing side. So let's talk about how to find people to help you. One of the best ways is to think about your network, think about your connections, think about your friends. Who do you know that's in the book space? Who do you know that has written a book before? Maybe they know somebody or are able to take on the project themselves. I think back to a friend of mine, James, who I got connected with from a mutual friend of ours, a mutual connection of ours, who I had talked to previously, and they knew I wrote books. They said, James came forward and said, I'm interested in writing a book. Do you know somebody? Here I am, So it's interesting to think about that you might be one or two steps away from knowing a ghostwriter or coach or somebody else who can support you during the writing process. So I think the first step for you is, after you think about what support you need, think about people in your network who can provide that support. And maybe it's not somebody who has traditional book experience, but somebody who has a lot of writing experience. Maybe they're able to guide you in a very narrow place. Maybe they're able to help you with editing. Maybe they're able to give you feedback on writing in general. It could be a journalist or somebody who does a lot of writing for a living, and they might be able to help you in this book place, in this book journey. So it might not be somebody who has specific book experience, but knows some things and has worked on a lot of stories and a lot of writing. Another way to find people, find professionals to work with, is to look online. The two sites that I really focus on are LinkedIn and Reedsy. Reedsy is a marketplace for book professionals, and LinkedIn is a social media network for professionals, some of whom happen to do writing and coaching on different book projects. Both of those places are great because you can see who they're connected with, see their connections. Reedsy only has an acceptance rate of 3%. It took me years to get accepted on Reedsy. Evidently, I wasn't good enough up to a certain point, but now I am. So I'm in that top 3% now, which is great. But it took me a while to get accepted, which really lent credence and credibility to what this site was all about. If they're only taking the best of the best of the best, and people who've done multiple projects, the people that you find on that site are going to be high quality professionals. And that's what this is all about. You want to find people that you can trust. It's so easy when you go online and start searching around to find companies, go to Fiverr or Upwork or different self-publishing companies that will offer you the moon and the stars. And who are you actually working with? when you work with these companies? Who are the people that they employ or contract with? You have no idea sometimes. You have no idea the quality. You have no idea what they're going to do for you. You know, they could end up charging you lots of money and then outsourcing to underqualified people. You have no clue. So there's a lot of shadiness around the book world. You want to work with people you can trust, and you want to work with people who you know by name, who you actually know, who's working on your book. And with that said, when you're thinking about working with a ghostwriter or a coach, interview them, talk to them, get to know them. If you work with them to work on your book together, you're going to spend months and months and months in meetings with this person. Is this somebody that you're going to want to spend time with? That's one thing. Is this somebody you can trust? Because you don't want to have to look over their shoulder on everything and micromanage. You do not want to micromanage. And micromanaging is a project ruiner because it means they don't trust a professional or they don't trust themselves. As a result, an author could hire somebody to work on their book and then micromanage and scrutinize everything they do. You don't want to do that. You want to have not a hands-off approach, by all means. You want to trust this person so completely that you don't have to worry about everything that they're doing and keeping them on track and keeping them motivated. They're all in and they're helping you. You can do that by hiring high-quality professionals. But again, talk to them, get to know them, talk to their references, find out other people they worked with. You know, because if you're that successful, you should have at least 2 or 3 prior clients who can speak to your quality. If you don't have that, you have a problem. You know, and if they have all this knowledge and insight and they don't have any references to share with you, that's a red flag. If they're honest and say, I don't have experience in this, but I have experience in this, and you can talk to other people, so be it. You know, that's fine. This is really about following a process. It's about trusting your gut. When things don't feel right, when the relationship doesn't feel right, when you have questions about their ability, you want to challenge those things. You want to follow your gut. You want to listen to your gut. Your gut instincts are typically telling you signals that are important. And sometimes you look into it and say, there's nothing here, I'm going to let this go. Other times you look into it and you're like, oh, there's something deeper here. This is a problem. You want to follow your gut because, again, if you're going to end up working with this person for 3, 6, 9 months, there's a lot that can go wrong during that time. It is much easier to ask questions before you hire them, before you sign a contract, before you get locked in, than it is to bail out of it afterwards because it doesn't feel right. You don't want to deal with that. You don't want to deal with the headaches. You want this process to be as simple and easy as possible. So work with good people, spend the time to get to know them, talk to the references, and follow your gut. If you can do those things, you're going to put yourself in a really good position to have success with a ghostwriter or a coach. If you want to learn more about how to get help writing a book, I'd love for you to head to my website. It's goodghostwriter.com. You can click the link below. There you can schedule a one-on-one free strategy call with me. I'd love to talk to you, to learn more about your project, and offer some guidance. Offer some guidance on the path forward for you and how you can make this book happen and how this book can turn your dreams to reality. Remember, a good book can change your life. I'm Dan Good. Thanks for watching.